Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for SAT. We have been solving SAT grammar questions out of this book here, the official SAT study guide. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. The problems that we are about to solve are the ones that you will find on page number 955. Please turn to it. Page number 955. And today is our lesson number 48. Let's see what we can do here. These are a series of 11 questions, as I reminded you yesterday, as I remind you every time when we get to this section. These are a series of 11 questions arranged in the order of difficulty on a scale of 1 through 11. The first 4 that we did yesterday, those were the easy ones. Today we'll do the questions that you see in the first column. Those are the medium ones. We'll do those first, and then the ones that you see in the second column, those are the hard ones. So we're doing medium and the hard one today. The first 4, the easy ones, are already done. Number 5. While driving on the road, the way the sentence is written, it goes on to say, while driving on the road, the house with the large yard and a small pond attracted family's attention. What is wrong with the sentence the way it is written? The way it is written, it sounds like, while driving on the road, the house with the large yard, it sounds like it is the road that is driving down the street, not the family. We have to rearrange things so that it makes it clear that it is the family that is going down the street whose attention is being drawn to the house. So let's do that, shall we? While driving down the road, the family, how about this? Where is the family? The family is attracted by, there you go, the family is attracted, this is going to go before this one right here. The family is attracted by the house with the large yard and a small pond. There you go. So now it is the family that is driving down the road and not the house. Let's look at the answer choices. Your answer choice should have been covered at this point. I forgot to mention it. You must keep your answer choices covered. As I always tell you, do not look at the answer choices until you know what it is that you're looking for, until we have fixed the sentence ourselves. We have done so already. Let's lift our hand now and let's look at the answer choices. So the way we fixed it, it reads, while driving down the road, the family is attracted by the house with the large yard and a small pond. Let's see which one comes closest to it. B says the house having the large yard. No, we don't want the house, we want the family in the beginning. The house with the large yard. C says the same thing, that's not it. D says family, there you go. The family's attention was attracted by the house with the large yard and a small pond. What about it? The family's attention was attracted by the large yard, house with the large yard. What does E say? The family was attracted to the house with the large yard and a small pond. The family was attracted. The family, it should say is. It should have been in a past tense. The family was attracted to the house. Family was attracted. The family was attracted. I don't know why it says attracted again. The family was attracted. The family was attracted while driving down the road. I'm reading answer choice. The family was attracted to the house, or by the house, same thing, to the house with a large yard and a small pond. There you go, the answer is E. What's wrong with D? What is wrong with D? Let's read D one more time. In D it says, while driving down the road, family's attention was attracted. The way D is written, it sounds like it was the family's attention that was driving down the road and not the family itself. It should say, while driving down the road, you should make it quite clear at this point, what is it that's doing the driving? It is the family that's doing the driving, not family's attention, not the house. While driving down the road, the family was attracted by or attracted to the house with the large yard. The answer is E. The answer is E. Number 2. Or on number 8. Number 6 rather. The chestnut, like the oak, the chestnut, like the oak, is called the immortal tree. Is called the immortal tree. And then they go on to say, then they go on to give us the reason. The reason is that the trunk and roots remain alive even after the tree has been felled. In other words, even after you chop down the tree, apparently the roots and the trunk stay alive in this tree. Let's see what we can do here. It says the chestnut tree, like the oak tree, that part is unnecessary, we don't need it, it doesn't do anything for us, anything that appears between the comma. The chestnut tree is called immortal tree, and the very first word that we expect to hear, your ears, what do your ears expect to hear? The very next word. You expect to hear a reason, you're looking for a reason. Why is it called the immortal tree? And to which the answer would be because. That's what we need here. The chestnut tree is called the immortal tree because not the reason is that, we don't need that, the reason is because the trunk and the roots remain alive. That's it. Get rid of all of these words. The reason is that, get rid of these 4 words. Get rid of these 4 words and we get rid of these 4 words and we have, now the sentence reads, the chestnut tree is called the immortal tree because the trunk and the trees, because the trunk and the roots remain alive even after the tree has been felled. Even after the tree has been felled. The trunk and the roots, it should say and the roots. It is called the immortal tree. It is called the immortal tree because the trunk and the roots remain alive even after you have chopped down the tree. That's it. Even after the tree has been chopped down, even after the tree has been felled. And that's answer choice. Well, let's look at the answer choices then. We haven't done that yet. There's no point in looking at A. I don't know why I even bothered to put A. There's no point in looking at A because A simply repeats what was underlined to begin with. B says it is called the immortal tree which has, we didn't even need to read the part which has. We could have stopped right after the tree because it has a comma after that. We do not have a comma. We got rid of the comma. Comma is gone. So the answer is not B. Let's go on to say what C says. C also has a comma. That's no good. It is called the immortal tree because its trunk and roots. Because its trunk. Oh, they're right. You don't need the article. I don't know what I was thinking. Because its trunks because its trunks and the end roots remain alive long after the tree has been chopped down. The answer is D. And E has two problems in it. What two problems do you see with answer choice E? The first problem is that we have a comma that we got rid of, and the second problem it says whose. We don't require whose here. We need the word because. It is called the immortal tree because its root and the trunk remain alive even after it has been chopped down. The answer is D. Number 7. Both Dr. Henderson and Dr. Ball having widely known for having authored numerous articles. It goes on to say having authored numerous articles in their field. We don't need that bit. That's the boring bit. Let's see what we can do here. Both Dr. Henderson and Dr. Ball, having widely known for having authored numerous articles, to which you will say, what the hell? Both Dr. Henderson and Dr. Ball are widely known, not having. Both of these people are, Dr. Henderson and Dr. Ball, both of them are widely known for having written many articles, or as they put it, for having written, or as they put it, for having authored many articles. Now let's lift our hand now. All we have done here is to cross out the word having and we replace it with the word are, and that's all we're looking for. That's all. Okay, don't make it complicated. That's the only change we made, and that's the only thing we are looking for. Let's look at B. B says both Dr. Henderson and Dr. Ball are widely known for having authored. There you go. Answer is B. Let's read C just out of curiosity. C, D, and E. It does not start out with the word both. We have not made any other change. It has to start out with both. D does not start out with both, and neither does E. The answer is B. The answer is B. Let's go on to number 8. They are both of them are widely known for having authored many articles. The very last one in the first column, number 8. Scientists are seeking better ways to predict damage from earthquakes, and then they put a comma there, and they are using and so everything up from the beginning up until now is underlined, and they are using super sensitive recorders, It goes on to say, and they are using super sensitive recorders to study how rock breaks and moves in earthquake. They are using super sensitive recorders to study how rock breaks and moves in earthquake. The fact that they are using super sensitive recorder, good for them. We don't need super sensitive. Recorder is good enough. As far as we are concerned, the sentence ends right there. As far as we are concerned, the ending part of the sentence is the boring bit. We are not interested in that. This is the part that we are interested in. This is the juicy bit. Let's see what it says. It says, scientists are seeking better ways to predict damage from earthquakes. And then they got a comma there. And they are using recorders. Let's fix it, shall we? Scientists, how about scientists seeking better ways? Scientists seeking better ways to predict damage from earthquakes are using recorders. How about that? Get rid of this comma. Comma is gone. So now the sentence reads, scientists seeking better ways to predict damage from earthquakes are using recorders. And then of course it will go on to say why. Are using recorders to study something. There you go. Scientists seeking better ways to predict damage from earthquakes are using recorders to study something. There you go. That's what we're looking for. Let's lift our hand now. Keep in mind what change we have made here. Only thing that we've done here is we've gotten rid of the word are and these two words here, and that's about it. And the comma. But it starts out in the same way. It starts out scientists seeking better ways to predict. That's very important. Don't mess with that. Do you understand? Don't go all over the place. That's the whole point of fixing it yourself. Because once you fix it yourself, don't start doubting yourself. B says scientists who seek. We don't have who. B says scientists seeking better ways. Scientists, C goes on to say scientists seeking better ways to predict damage from earthquake. There you go. Scientists seeking better ways to predict damage from earthquakes. There you go. The answer is C. D says seeking better ways for prediction. No. And E goes on to say seeking to better predict. Oh Jesus, no. The answer is C. Scientists seeking better ways to predict damage from earthquakes are using recorders to do something. Number 9. The answer is C. Number 8. Number 9. Let's begin into number 9, 10 and 11, the last 3 out of the 11. We're getting into a nasty territory now. Do you understand? So you must slow down now. Number 9. Some doctors believe that the types of injuries sustained in contact sports. Let's see what we can do. Some doctors believe that the types of injuries sustained in contact sports are, so none of this is underlined, the underlined portion starts from here, are no different for children than young kids, young adults. It's actually very simple, very straightforward to fix here. It says some doctors believe that the types of injuries sustained in contact sports are no different for children than what? Not than adults, than they are for young kids. Than they are for young kids, or you can say than for young kids. One more time. Some doctors believe that the injuries sustained in contact sports are no different for children than they are for young adults. Than they are for young adults. Then they are for young adults. We need the word for. Then they are for young adults, or then for young adults. Either way is fine. Let's see what we can do here. This one was number 9. But the most important part is that we need the word for. B says they are no different for children than for young adults. There you go. They are no different for children than for young adults. There you go. So we don't need this they are part. They are no different for children than for adults. The answer is B. Let's see what D says. Oh, I read C, but I said B. It's not B. It's not B, it is C, because first of all, we have to have plural here. B does not say plural. They are no different for children than for adults. That was C that I just read, not B. B says is no different. It's not is. Not only it says is, it has singular instead of are, it has singular. But then it goes on to say is no difference for children than being young adults. That's ridiculous. The answer is not B, the answer is C. I was so bogged down in the right answer that I wasn't paying attention to the letters. D goes on to say, let's go on to D. D also starts out with are no different for children than for those who are young adults. No, that's not it. That's very awkward. And E goes on to say are no different. No, it's C. Some doctors believe that the types of injuries sustained in contact sports are no different for children than for young adults. As I said, we needed the word for. They are no different for children. These injuries are no different for children than for adults. They are the same injuries that one sustains in contact sports. The answer is C. Number 10. The reason for the continuous popularity of country western performers is that it draws on experiences with which almost everyone can relate or can identify. Same thing. The reason, it says, it goes on to say, the reason for the continuous popularity of country western performers. I left out the words continuous popularity. We don't need that. So as far as we are concerned, the sentence reads, the reason for the popularity of country western performers is that it draws, and you begin to wonder, what the hell is this it supposed to mean? Or what the hell is this it supposed to refer to? Obviously, this pronoun it does not refer to the country western performers. For one thing, they are people, they wouldn't be referred to with word it. And secondly, they are performers, plurals. So obviously, this it does not refer to the country western performers. What does it refer to? It's very ambiguous. It doesn't make it clear. What is it talking about? What draws? Question here is, what draws on experiences with which almost everyone can identify? And what draws on the experiences is their music. The reason for popularity of country western performers is that their music draws on experiences that everyone can relate to. Their music, not it, because so far they have not mentioned the music. And if they have not mentioned the music at all in the sentence up until this point, you can't start using pronoun. You can't go around referring to somebody with he or she without ever mentioning that person's name in the sentence earlier. They have never mentioned the music, so we have to mention it. Because it is the reason for the popularity of the country western performers is that their music, I don't know why I put line on top of it, their music draws, it should be draws, because music is singular, because their music draws on experiences with which everyone can relate, which everyone can identify, as they put it. That's all we have done here. So replace the word it with their music to make it clear as to what we are talking, as to what is this it refers to. It refers to their music. That's all we have done here. We're going to lift our hand now. We're going to go through the answer choices. We're just going to replace the word it with their music. Let's see what we can do. B, C, D, and E. B says, the reason for continuous popularity of country western performers is that their music draws on. There you go. Is that their music draws on? The answer is B. C says, because the music draws on. No. We said their music. The it part refers to the music of this country western performers. Their music. D goes on to say, because of them. No. And E says, they will draw. Oh, this is even ridiculous. The reason for the continuous popularity of country western performers is that their music draws on experiences that everyone can relate to. That's all. The answer is B. The answer is B. The very last one, number 11. Raised in a large and noisy city, raised in a large and noisy city, it was only when I, there's the comma here, it was only when I went away to college that I realized how delightful life in a small town could be. Oh, this is a mouthful. Raised in a large and a noisy city, it was only when I went away to college that I realized how delightful life in a small town could be. We understand the meaning of the sentence, we can understand quite well what the author is trying to say, but it is a bit awkward and a bit verbose. We need to work on it, we need to make it more succinct. Right now it's not very well written. Raised in a large noisy city, it was only when I don't look at the answer. Don't look at the answer choices. Do you understand? It was only when I went away to college that I realized how delightful the life in a small town could be. Raised in a large and noisy city. How about we put this part? I did not realize. We'll have to put it here. I left no room to work on it here because I didn't realize we will have to write so much. I did not realize, we're putting this part in the beginning, I did not realize how delightful the life could be, how delightful the life could be in a small town. How about that? Raised in a large city, I did not realize. Where's my pointer? Okay, you have to. That's why I'm reading it to you, because I understand. I know. I'm quite cognizant of the fact that my handwriting is quite atrocious, which is why I'm reading it to you. So we are moving things around. Instead of putting this part, it was only when I went away to the college that I realized how delightful life in a small town could be. Let's put this part, the small town part, in the beginning. Raised in a large noisy city, I did not realize we could do it here. I did not realize I did not realize how delightful the life in a small town could be until I went to college. Until I went to college. Let's see what we can do. So one more time, I'm going to erase actually the part that we crossed out. I'm going to erase all of these things so it makes it easier to see. All of this part is gone. All of this part is gone. And it says, raised in a large noisy city, I did not realize how delightful life could be, until I went to college. There we go. There we go. This is much better. Raised in a large noisy city, I did not realize how delightful the life could be in a small town until I went to college. There you go. That makes perfect sense. Raised in a large noisy city, I did not realize how delightful the life could be in a small town until I went to college. Let's see what we can do. B says, when I went away to college, that's not how it starts out. The underlying question starts from here. Right after the comma. And R starts out, I did not realize. And B does not start out like that. It says, when I went away to college. That's not it. C says, going away to college made me realize. No, that's not it. C says, I did not realize how delightful life in a small town, how delightful life could be. I left out this small part. Could be in a small town. I left that out by inadvertently. How delightful life could be in a small town until I went to college. And they say, and D says, I did not realize how delightful life in a small town could be. And we have how delightful life could be in a small town. It's the same thing. I did not realize how delightful life in a small town could be until I went to college. Until I went away to college. There you go. The answer is D. That's the one that comes closest to what we have. E says, delightful life in a small town was unrealized. What the hell? Raised in a large, noisy city, I did not realize how delightful life could be in a small town until I went to college. And they say, I did not realize how delightful life in a small town could be. They have the in a small town here. How delightful life in a small town could be until I went away to college, they say. Same thing. The answer is D. Tomorrow, as you turn the page, you will see a series of 18 questions. Tomorrow, we'll work on the 18 questions that you see on the following page. There are a series of, as I said, 18 questions, starting from number 12, ending at number 29. And because there are 18 of them, and because they are different type of questions, they will have a separate, different difficulty scale of their own. And that difficulty scale will go from number 12 to number 29. The first 6 are going to be easy, the middle 6 are going to be medium, and the last 6 of these 18 questions are going to be hard. We'll begin working on those questions, on those 18 questions that you see on the page number 956, on the next page tomorrow. Okay? I'll see you then. Bye now.